Hey guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these really cute popcorn zipper pouches. So they're just like those popcorn bags that you put in the microwave. So they stay nice and flat, but then they can expand to be very large and have lots of storage. So if you're interested in learning how to make something like this, all the measurements for the large and the small will be over at the blog post, which will be linked below, as well as the information icon. So what you'll need for this project is some cotton fabric. You'll need 2 large pieces and 1 strip for our binding, a zipper, and then also if you would like to do some fusible interfacing, you can also do that. I'm using a lightweight or a medium. I find that is best for this bag. So the first thing we're going to do is press our pieces and then put the interfacing onto the outer fabric. So if you've never worked with fusible interfacing, it has glue on one side. It adds stability to your fabric. So I'm just going to put that onto the wrong side of the fabric and use a hot dry iron to melt the glue and secure it onto our fabric. So I'm going to take that rectangle and I'm going to put the zipper with a zipper pull down onto the shortest side of that outer fabric. Then I'm going to take the lining and put that with the right sides down on top, lining up that edge. So now I'm just going to sew a seam right along those zipper teeth. I'm using a zipper foot. If you've never worked with one before, I do have a video tutorial on how to use and install one. I'll link that in the information icon here. And then next we're going to do a top stitch. So just flip the fabric with the right sides out, pull the fabric nice and tight, and then we'll just do a top stitch right along the zipper teeth. Next we're going to work on installing the other half of our zipper. So we're going to fold up the outer fabric and then we will flip it over and fold up the lining fabric. Make sure that the fabrics are right sides together and sandwiching your zipper. And you will again do a seam along your zipper teeth. So for this side, we're going to have to do the top stitch a little bit different. So once you're done sewing the seam, we're going to undo the zipper and then we'll flip the whole thing right sides out, and then you'll have to just do that top stitch right down the zipper teeth with your zipper open. If your zipper isn't open, then it'll just be a lot more harder to get the bag into your machine. So again, you're just going to pull that fabric tight, and it's very beneficial to do the top stitch because if you don't, then your lining will probably get stuck in your zipper teeth when you try to open and close your bag. So after that, we're just going to zip up that zipper, and now we're going to find the center of the back of the bag. So for this, we're just going to flatten the bag, and you can eyeball it if you like, but if you would like to be more precise, then you can just fold it like I am and then snip a little triangle into the fold, and then you can line up that little notch with your zipper teeth. And then I'm just going to take some pins and I'll pin that into place just so that that doesn't shift around when we go to do our next step. So I'm going to make sure I have my iron handy just because I find ironing will make this a lot more better. So now I'm just going to press the bag and I'm going to make a crease where I'm holding here. So as you can see, the crease is there, and I'm going to fold that crease up about 1 inch. I will press that, and then the top of the bag is sort of puckering. We're going to push that down so that we have sort of like an accordion fold, and just make sure that it is all even. And then I'll just press that again just to make sure that it stays in place. And then I like to put clips just to hold it so it doesn't reopen up. And then I'm going to do that on the other side in the same way. So just taking that crease, make sure that your lining is included in this fold. And then I'm just going to push the top down to make sure it is all nice and even. Press that and then clip it. So from here, we are going to do some basting stitches, and it's just because I'm going to be pulling my zipper pull back and the zipper is going to want to open up. So to make sure that your zipper is nice and even, we're just going to do some basting stitches over top of the zipper teeth to make sure that it stays nice and together. So these are just regular basting stitches, which usually people like to bump up their machine to like a 4, but it doesn't really matter. Just put a few stitches, even if you just did it right where the zipper is. So now I'm just going to square off the bag, cut off any uneven parts, and it's okay if you cut off the stitches, just as long as you leave the stitches that are holding that zipper together, and then we're good. Okay, so now we're going to work on binding the sides. I'm just using a piece of fabric and I'm just going to eyeball the length. I'm going to make sure that is longer than the sides of my bag, about like an inch. And I'm going to lay that with the right sides down on top, even with the side. I'll flip it over and then I'll fold those edges over. And I'm just going to put a pin in it. I'll do that for the other side. And I'll have precise measurements for these pieces at the blog post. So don't worry, you know, I did eyeball it here, but if you want to be perfect, I will have those measurements for you. And then I'm just going to do a stitch along both sides, and I'm going to do it about 1/4 of an inch away from the side. It's really important to do it this way just because it's going to encase the corner of the bag. We don't want to have any raw edges. And if you've already learned from most of my tutorials, I don't like raw edges. So if you see one, I probably didn't know what I was doing. So now you just flip out those pieces of fabric, and now we're just going to press them. Make sure that they're even with the size of the bag, and then we're just going to fold it once and then fold it again. When you fold it again, you're going to make sure that the back is even with the front. And then you can just press that and then put a pin in it. You want to make sure that the back is even with the front, otherwise it just won't look as good. So I'm going to show you one more time, and hopefully you get a better look at this. So I'm just going to make sure that those are nice and straight. And I apologize for my table. I did change my craft table and it is very shaky. I didn't realize. So as you can see here, it is even with the front. So just press that, put a little clip on there, and then you're just going to do a top stitch along the edge of that, about 1/8 of an inch away. And hopefully that top stitch will transfer to the other side of your bag so that you have a perfect binding, and then you're done. So I think it turned out super cute, and I love the contrasting binding that matches the lining. So if you like this tutorial, please share it with your friends, and of course like, comment, subscribe if you're not already part of my YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted of new and future tutorials. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye guys.